that I can get to without collapsing forward, and I rock off. So I don't have to be concerned about touching my chest unless my shoulders loosen up to the point where I can be like, oh, all right guys, you guys want to blow up your back? That's how I blow my back up. You want a mass building back workout? Try this. You want bulging lats? You want Tyrannosaurus traps? You guys want lats like Dorian Yates with half the work and half fucking genetics? You want to figure out how to not work hard, get big? You want, this is the shortcut channel. So I had a interesting situation the other day. I trained actually two guys. One guy was worse, not worse, just different than the other, in the sense that both of them are like, the one guy was really fucking trap dominant. He's like a massive dude, but he was very like, literally like this from the front, like looks like that kind of height on your trap. Like he's really heavy trap. Like it's like rare to see that. So when guys are like that, whatever's caved in is obviously not working. So if I see this up here and this rolled forward, and I see this is not, obviously it never works, right? Because it's like flaccid. It never like moves. The shoulders don't roll back. So my issue is with him, I was doing shoulders with him. I did everybody, well I did chest with him too, but did shoulders with him, and I was trying to get him to do the shoulder, the raises the way that I teach and the way that I prefer people do it, which is like hip back, elbows forward, shoulders rolled forward, and we're just throwing out on stuff, rocking up, right? So that's what I was trying to get him to do. But for someone who's that trap dominant, who's literally up here, like when he was here and I'd set him here, you have to understand, I'm putting people into this position to get their shoulder to roll forward. Because a lot of people are stuck here when they do laterals and they do this kind of shit, right? This guy's already in the position I want to be in, and he had literally almost no strength in his hands. So when he would do laterals up in this thing, everything starts with a movement from here. So all his movements with his hands started from pushes from his shoulder. So he was always trying to like limp stuff up, right, and throw. So when he threw, it was like he would do the throw and it would be like, it was just this limping. Look up behind you, Laura. You go right there. And so he would limp this thing out, go like this, because he couldn't get this trap to stop moving, in the sense that like I said, everything's moving from here, so this is trying to throw the hand away, as opposed to like my hands moving with strength of its own to lift other things they're throwing out of the way. So I was talking about this on Broadcast this night. When you're in the gym training people and you see these other problems people have where like they're stuck in these movement patterns or overdevelopment and stuff like that, you have to figure out as a trainer, if you're worth a shit, how do I get that person to feel where I want them to feel it, understanding that like they have these restrictions or these like inabilities to move, right? So with him, I understood that like if I keep him more forward, he's only going to stay more forward. I won't be able to get any drive out of this hand, because this pull up into the neck is just happening, and it's a flipper arm, right? So someone who's heavy trap dominant like that, some of you guys that are really rolled forward, you guys should almost think about rolling chest up through, so getting into a position you're not used to being in, which is like shoulders retracted already, and having yourself more up tall so that when you throw, you're arching and throwing. So as you can see when I do that, if I throw it to one side here and I do that, when I throw this trap, if I'm up here, is already down, here it's gone completely. And I'm using my arm to throw, right? So you gotta do these basically adjustments on the fly of getting people to understand, like, if this trap's dominating, how the fuck do I get out of the movement? I have to throw away and I have to lift up through hand. Because the hand and the trap are the hand's doing nothing here and the trap's doing everything. Now I have to get the trap to do nothing and the hand to do everything. So I have to move in different ways, right? But if you're a trainer who's worth any shit, that's the stuff that you need to adapt to. It's not like I know the most unique, difficult movements that target the most intricate, like minute details of the body. It's like, that's great and all that, guys. Like, it's really great that you can come up with that and you can come up with these fucking ways of making everything unique and more difficult. But it's like, why don't you understand that if you just pick people's movement first and move with them see what they need to do movement-wise to fix their issues, you're probably gonna make a world of difference as opposed to be like, yeah, I get my guys to fucking lay on the floor and do cable raises with cuffs on their fucking wrist. Like a bunch of fucking lame asses. Like, you're putting people in positions of being, it's like you're putting them into like crutch positions. So you're like, I'm taking out all the variables that could fuck something up, and I'm just gonna have someone move on an angle that I know they can't fuck up. But like, you're doing the person a disservice, because they're not gonna keep doing that. Like laying on the floor to do lateral raises so that you understand how to keep your shoulders back, so that your arms only fall out to here in front of you, and then you go like this again. It's like, guys, use dumbbells and like fucking do normal laterals. Like be fucking men. Like, work out properly. Stop trying to outsmart things or make, I got the most unique way of doing something, so therefore it's most effective. Odds are it's not. And odds are you're wrong. And you're just trying to fucking, you're bored, or you're trying to seem like you're different, or you have some like magical mind for bodybuilding, you're like a fucking savant. But meanwhile, you're just thinking of stupid shit that's unnecessary that doesn't need to be done. Aside from if someone's got like some type of injury, or some type of like really like a major mechanical or like an anatomical issue that they can't do certain stuff, then you bring in crutches and you bring in like aids and things like that help you. But like, just doing it to able-bodied people that just, their movement sucks, you're still ingraining horrible movement patterns. You're just telling them, oh, it's okay that you suck at movement. This will just put you in a position that makes you a little bit better at it. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to think so much there, sweetheart. Like, you're fucking, don't think too much today. It's crazy to me, because it's the simplest fix is just understanding like this guy is trapped overdowning. How do we get his trap out of the movement? We need to stand him up taller. We need to rock him back further. It doesn't take like, oh man, no, just keep doing it this way, but you're never gonna get it, but we're just gonna keep doing it my way because it's the most effective. It's like, no, maybe you just have to come out of everything you know and look at that person and be like, we need to do it this way. I would never tell anyone else to do it this way, but we need to do it this way. And the guy's like struggling when he's doing it and he's actually feeling his delts, right? So just make sure that you guys don't make stuff difficult or unique just for the sake of it. There's no point. It doesn't help anybody out. All it does is confuse these kids who watch you too. There's nothing confusing about what I do. You watch one of my videos, it's very basic. I'm not throwing fucking anatomical terms at you or fucking origin and insertion points and then I was like, just a fart. Yeah, just farting it, man. Just farting all day, every day. Look at the difference in movement between this guy and me. Ooh, Celebrex is working today. Shoulder feels good. There's a real like epidemic going on in the world that I think people need to really address. Because I think it's like, we've all accepted it as normal behavior, but it's not normal. And in fact, like psychologically, if you really like were to look into it, a lot of you have issues, man. Like this obsessiveness of taking selfies all the time is not good. Like, I hate to break that to everybody. Everyone's doing it, so everyone's like, oh, it's cool, it's fine. It's like, well, if everyone does everything, if everyone does it, do you think does that just make it all right? Like, just because you're all fucked means we're all good? Like, if we all do it and it's fucked up, we're still good. Wow, this guy's shorts are fucking impressively short. That's insane. What? You didn't see this guy's shorts over here? He's going for the fucking award. Anyway, yeah, but it's like, I understand people taking selfies, like they post them, validation, blah, 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 blah. You tell it means something else, it's not. We all know what it is. It's like the fact that people are doing it, like I said before, in public. And as a man, how do you fucking do that? Like, guys out there, we've all taken selfies, right? Like, randomly. But the fact that you're posting a selfie every day and you're a dude, are you a dude? Or are you some hybrid of a man? It's odd to me. I can't tell you the last time I took a selfie. I can't tell you. And you'll never see one that's taken and put on my Instagram. That doesn't make me better than you guys, it just makes me different. And I think that different is good different. It's like, disturbs me to see it, because I like wonder if like that, if you're a dude and you're doing that, like, are you all right? Like, it's a behavior sadly I expect from women. It's just come to be like what's the natural thing, but like as a man, why are you doing that? Whenever I film with you, I don't train properly, so I have to actually try and train today. I don't want to say later. To go along with our fart training guide.
Which is a real thing, by the way.
Yeah.
People think it's a joke.
It's not a joke. It's very fucking serious. Super serious. Serious as a heart attack. Don't joke around about it. So anyway, there's like key staples of movement. I was talking about this on Bro Chat last night, that they're talking about like, oh, what exercise selection do you do? And if you're gonna do a chest workout, how would you structure it? What would you do first? It's like, I have no fucking clue. I have machines I like because I personally like the way they move, and I find that when I train other people, I can convey my point, and I can convey my messaging and like cues on that machine better because I'm hyper aware of how that machine works, right? Because I've understood it myself to try and optimize it for my own movement. So when it comes to chest, if you were to break down chest into the most basic fundamental cues, right? It would be, we're focusing on shoulder retraction and hand push off. So deepest shoulder retraction that we can get doesn't necessarily equal deepest bar depth. And for people who are very bound up and tight and like especially heavily front delt, like heavy, and they hold a lot of their muscle in their front delt, and that's where they pin a lot of their weight, your shoulder retraction is going to be less than mine. Or someone who has like great mobility through their shoulder, right? So that being said, don't think like, oh, when I get on a bench press or a machine press where there's a bar comes down, I have to tap my chest to know that I got depth. Because a lot of the times when you guys are pressing, guys and girls me too, when I go to press, so if I'm sitting up here and I just want shoulder depth, right now I'm gonna let my hands push, my elbow's gonna collapse, my hand's gonna push my shoulder back, I'm gonna squeeze into my back. This is depth right here. Maybe a half inch more and I can rock off from here. So if you were to look at the side view of that, my maximum depth with shoulder retraction is here. If I was to go to here, see what happens? So if I only go to where my shoulder retracts to its deepest point, it's here. That's still an inch from my chest. But I'm rocking that weight out through and squeezing. So as my shoulders loosen up, who knows, my shoulders might be able to get to a depth of here, and I rock up. But what I don't want is just being like, oh, this is as deep as this goes, and then I can push off. And this is as deep as this goes, and I can push off. So I feel this like huge strain in my fucking shoulder. Full range of motion on this is this, obviously, or any chest press. This is A, and this is B. A, B. So as you can see, that's nothing like what we're doing, right? But so you guys and girls that are obsessed with full range of motion, like we talked about before, it's a good start. Like, you're learning, but when we got to find that, we either start hyper-analyzing now, like, yes, I understand full range of motion, but like, what is my shoulder doing? Because shoulder retraction of shoulders sinking back automatically means chest is lifting. If it doesn't, which it should, if you were literally just thinking about your shoulders, it's going to look like this. So I think you're going to be pretty aware that you're doing it wrong, right? So if I don't understand that break hand, fold elbow, lift chest, and roll shoulders back, lift chest up, drive. So I can hold this negative, this deep negative as long as I want, and I can drive off when I'm ready, right? So it's just a tip for people, don't be obsessed with how deep the bar is getting. It's especially on, like, let's say you're doing Smith machine presses, like, you can get that bar to drop and touch your chest. It'll come down, it'll tap your chest, but like, it doesn't mean that you're pressing from chest, right? So it's the same thing as if the bar is across. So even if we're on a bench here, I'm obviously on an incline, like small incline. I could push this up like most people do. So first of all, you're wrong if you're not arching. So if I'm not already in an arch here and taking the bar off in an arch position and just letting the bar sit, I don't take Smith machine bars off and go and hold them with a lengthened lat, like an extended shoulder. So we're always taking off things where I'm tucked under, shoulders pinned, I just unhook and put on hand. So when I go to pull in here, my full depth if I touch my chest is here. And as you can see, my shoulders are pinching forward and I'm flattening out. So the shoulders pulled down and I'm leaning into my bar and I'm feeling a strain across the top of my shoulders and I push out here. So I literally like kind of tucked in and pushed out. So if I want to do it where I'm not doing that and I'm doing it properly, and I want my shoulders to retract behind the bench and my sternum to lift, I have to start properly by breaking elbow, catching on hand, and lifting chest up to bar. So I'm meeting the bar with my chest. So now I'm stuck here. This is my depth that I can get to without collapsing forward, and I rock off. So I don't have to be concerned about touching my chest unless my shoulders loosen up to the point where I can be like, oh, I can reach for another ½ inch and I can drive. But it's not our goal to bang down on chest. I don't want to just drop the bar, push the bar, drop the bar, push the bar. Just like I said before, touching your chest isn't the goal. If you develop, there could be guys who are so rolled forward, you get them on here, they take off here, and they might get to this point here, they break halfway and they go, then you know it's time to just keep them pinned back in the seat, let the hand drop, feel the head pull up to the ceiling and the shoulder rock back and just drive from here. Because at least if we're going quarter ranges of motion like that with them to teach them, at least they're stimulating pec fiber and they're not just driving off shoulder or fucking using their triceps to push whatever it might be, right? Because as we'll keep repeating, the act of doing the movement alone doesn't elicit results. I did incline today. Pretty sure my chest is going to be jacked from it, like because I did the exercise that directly correlates to upper chest development, but I did it horribly. But it doesn't matter, I did it. So it's just crazy. It leads me to like another thing. Like people come to train with me, or they come to train with other people who might have like a really good understanding of what's going on with training or movement. And it's like they can't comprehend, like they almost like, why are you making it so difficult? Or why is it so nuanced? Why is it whatever? Like they assume that it's so easy, right? But there's literally, like I've said before in other videos, there's guys who go and work on their golf swing every day of the year, no matter what. It could be a baseball player. It could be, like, I just watched that Netflix thing about quarterbacks where they followed Patrick Mahomes and the other dude around for a year. And you see them refining their skills all the time with different coaches for different things, different methods of like different diet changes, whatever the fuck it be. This guy's my new agility coach. This guy's my new throwing coach, whatever. And like I said, those are like nuanced things, especially like golf or like, say you're a pitcher in baseball. You're doing one movement that you're trying to perfect over a lifetime. You guys are coming in the gym doing multiple movements on multiple body parts that require multiple muscle groups and multiple like dynamic angles to work that muscle group or whatever you're targeting, right? And you think that it's just so basic that the name of the exercise is what it is, or that this exercise directly correlates to that. It's like, why would you think that? It's like shooting a basketball is just shooting a basketball, but you could shoot a basketball like this, or you could shoot a basketball like this, or you could like stand with your feet together and not jump. You could elevate and jump off. There's any way you can shoot a basketball. You could fucking hook shot it. There's all kinds of stuff you could do. So don't think that like just because you're doing the movement that the results are going to come. They're not. You have to think about what you're doing. You have to put effort into it, right? So give yourself a little more credit and understanding that this is like, although this isn't a sport, it is a skill